Jai-Ho Kim wiped sweat from his brow as he pushed the cleaning cart down the curved hallway of Orbital Station K7. The mop handle felt strange in hands that once shuffled cards with expert skill. 6 months ago, he had been one of the top poker players on Earth. Now he cleaned alien waste and trash. "Move aside, human," growled a tall, blue-skinned alien as it brushed past him. Jai-Ho pressed his cart against the wall and bowed his head. He had learned to be invisible here. It was safer that way. As he worked his way toward the entertainment deck, the sounds of the station's famous gambling den, the Void, reached his ears. Music, strange alien laughter, and the chime of winning games mixed together. Jai-Ho felt the familiar pull. He missed the feel of cards, the weight of chips, the rush of a well-played hand. His final game on Earth flashed in his mind. He had been so sure of his royal flush, but the cards had been marked. His opponent had cheated, and Jai-Ho had lost everything. His money, his home, even his reputation. With nowhere else to go, he had taken this job on the edge of human space. Jai-Ho parked his cart and began to clean the observation deck that overlooked the Void. From here, he could watch the games below. 6 different alien species sat around various tables, playing games with strange rules. But at one table in the corner, Jai-Ho spotted something familiar, cards being dealt in the pattern of Texas Hold'em. He leaned on his mop, watching closely. The aliens played in odd ways. A tall, insect-like Vespid raised on a weak hand that any human would fold. A squat, rocky-skinned alien called all bets without ever trying to read its opponents. "They don't understand bluffing," Jai-Ho whispered to himself. "They play by math and odds, not psychology." For weeks, he had watched them play. The aliens were smart, far smarter than humans in many ways, but they lacked something key to poker: the ability to lie well and to catch others in lies. Jai-Ho reached into his pocket and felt his last paycheck card. He had saved every credit for 3 months, eating the cheapest food and living in the smallest room possible. One game, he told himself, just to feel alive again. After his shift ended, Jai-Ho showered and put on his only decent clothes. He entered the Void from the public entrance, feeling out of place among the well-dressed aliens. At the exchange counter, he traded his paycheck for a small stack of universal credit chips. He approached the Hold'em table where 5 Vespid diplomats sat playing. Their compound eyes turned to look at him. "May I join?" Jai-Ho asked, his voice stronger than he expected. "The human cleaner wishes to play." One Vespid clicked to another in its own language, not knowing Jai-Ho had learned enough to understand simple phrases. "This will be amusing. Minimum buy-in is 200 credits, another Vespid said in common language. Jai-Ho placed his entire stack on the table, exactly 200 credits. Every credit he had. "I'm in," he said. The dealer, a robot arm extending from the center of the table, shuffled the cards with perfect precision. Jai-Ho was dealt his first hand, a 7 and 2 of different suits, a terrible starting hand. The Vespids placed their bets quickly, using mathematical odds that Jai-Ho knew by heart. Jai-Ho raised, even with his bad cards. The Vespids' antennae twitched in surprise. According to pure odds, this was an irrational move. One by one, they folded, not understanding why the human would raise with what must be bad cards. Only one Vespid called, and the flop came. 3 cards face up that helped neither Jai-Ho nor his opponent. Jai-Ho stared at the Vespid, watching how its mandibles clicked slightly when nervous. He raised again. The Vespid folded. Jai-Ho collected his chips, now 250 credits. The Vespids buzzed among themselves, confused by the human's play. "Another hand?" Jai-Ho asked with a small smile, feeling truly alive for the first time in months. The aliens had no idea what they were about to learn about humans and the art of the bluff. 3 hours later, Jai-Ho's stack of chips had grown to over 1,500 credits. The Vespid diplomats clicked their mandibles in confusion as the human won hand after hand. Jiho wasn't always holding good cards, but the aliens couldn't tell when he was bluffing. "I think I will stop for tonight," Jiho said, gathering his winnings. He tried not to smile too widely. It was best not to upset the aliens too much. As Jiho walked toward the currency exchange, a tall human man stepped into his path. The man wore expensive clothes and had a friendly smile. "That was quite a show," the man said, extending his hand. "I'm Ta-1." Jiho shook his hand cautiously. "Jiho Kim." "I know who you are," Ta-1 said. "You were making waves on Earth before. Well, before your bad luck." Jiho stiffened. "What do you want?" "Let's talk somewhere private," Ta-1 suggested. They went to a small food shop that served Earth-style noodles. Jiho ordered the cheapest bowl while Ta-1 ordered an expensive dish. "I'm a trader," Ta-1 explained. "One of the few humans allowed to move goods through this sector. I've been watching you." "Watching me clean floors?" Jiho asked. "Watching you study the aliens?" Ta-1 said. "And now watching you beat them at a game they thought they understood." He leaned forward. "I have a business offer. I'll stake you in bigger games. You play, I provide the money, and we split the profits 50-50. Jiho stirred his noodles. "Why would you trust me with your money?" "Because you have something these aliens don't understand." Ta-1 tapped his own temple. "The human ability to lie convincingly. These aliens think poker is about mathematics. You know it's about people." Jiho thought about his tiny room and his cleaning job. Then he thought about playing poker again. Real poker, with high stakes. 60-40, Jiho said. "I take the bigger share. I'm the one taking the risk." Ta-1 smiled. "Deal. We start tomorrow. Bigger table, bigger aliens, bigger money." The next evening, Jiho entered the void wearing new clothes that Ta-1 had bought him. He looked like a proper gambler now, not a janitor. The table Ta-1 had arranged included 2 Vespids, a rock-like growl, and a tall, thin alien with 6 eyes called an Aloro. The buy-in was 5,000 credits, which Ta-1 paid without blinking. "Good luck," Ta-1 whispered, patting Jiho's shoulder. The game began. Jiho played carefully at first, studying how each alien species reacted. The growl made small clicking sounds when it had a good hand. The Aloro's top eyes blinked rapidly when bluffing. Jiho kept track of these tells, building his strategy. By midnight, Jiho had tripled his chips. The aliens were growing frustrated. The growl especially seemed angry, its rocky skin turning a deeper shade of gray. "The human is unusual," the growl said in the common language. "No one wins this consistently without cheating." "I assure you, I'm just playing the game," Jiho replied calmly. From across the room, Jiho noticed a woman in a station security uniform watching him. She was Korean too, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Her name tag read Sungmei. She didn't smile or look away when Jiho caught her staring. As the night ended, Jiho cashed out 17,000 credits. Ta-1 was waiting with a broad smile. "Magnificent," Ta-1 exclaimed. "Tomorrow we go even bigger." Jiho counted out Ta-1's 40% share. "Who was that security officer watching us?" "Sungmi Park," Ta-1 said, his smile fading slightly. "Head of station security. Be careful around her. She doesn't like gamblers much, especially humans who beat aliens at their own games." "Is she going to be a problem?" Jiho asked. Ta-1 pocketed his money. "Not if we're smart. Besides, I have bigger plans. There's a private game next week, very exclusive. The Grail Ambassador will be there." "Ambassador?" Jiho felt a chill. "That's high politics, not just gambling." "High politics means high stakes," Ta-1 said. "And the Grail control half the trade routes in this sector. Imagine what we could do if you beat them." Jiho looked across the void at Sungmei, who was still watching him. He had a feeling things were about to get complicated. This wasn't just about poker anymore. For the next week, Jai-ho won every night. His small stack of credits grew into a small fortune. Aliens from all over the station came to play against the human who seemed to know what cards they held just by looking at them. Jai-ho was checking his winnings in his new larger room when someone knocked on his door. When he opened it, he found Sung-me, the security chief, standing there with a stern face. "Officer Park," Jai-ho said politely. "How can I help you?" "May I come in?" she asked. Jai-ho stepped aside. Sung-me walked in and looked around his room, noticing the expensive new things he had bought. "You've done well for a janitor," she said. "I've had some luck at cards," Jai-ho replied. Sung-me turned to face him. "It's not luck, and we both know it. You're very good. But you're also playing a dangerous game, and I don't mean poker." Jai-ho sat down. "What do you mean?" "Your friend Ta-1," Sung-me said. "He's not just a trader. He has connections to big companies on Earth, companies that want more power in this sector." "He's just my backer," Jai-ho said. "Is he?" Sung-me raised an eyebrow. "I hear he's arranged for you to play with Ambassador Dorak of the Growl tomorrow." Jai-ho's heart beat faster. "It's just a game." Sung-me shook her head. "Nothing is just a game when it comes to the Growl. They control most trade in this sector. They're logical, cold, and they don't forget when someone beats them." She stepped closer. "And they always get even." "Are you warning me to stop playing?" Jai-ho asked. "I'm warning you to be careful who you trust," Sung-me replied. "Ta-1 is using you for something bigger than poker." She walked to the door. "Good luck tomorrow. You'll need it." After she left, Jai-ho sat thinking. Was Ta-1 using him? Did it matter if they both made money? His door chimed again. This time, it was Ta-1, smiling as usual. "Big news," Ta-1 said, walking in without waiting for an invitation. "I've secured your place at Ambassador Dorak's private game." "So I heard," Jai-ho said carefully. "What's the buy-in?" 50,000 credits, Ta-1 said. "But don't worry. I've covered it." Jai-ho whistled. That was more money than he'd make in 10 years as a janitor. "That's a lot of faith in my skills," Jai-ho said. "I know talent when I see it," Ta-1 replied. "Besides, this is more than just money. If you beat Dorak, our reputation will spread throughout the sector. We could arrange games on other stations, other worlds." "What's really going on, Ta-1?" Jai-ho asked directly. "Security Chief Park visited me. She says you're connected to Earth corporations." Ta-1's smile faded. Sung-me should mind her own business. He sighed. "Yes, I have business partners on Earth. They're interested in opening new trade routes that the Growl currently control. If a human beats their ambassador at poker, it shows weakness. It gives us leverage." "So I'm not just playing cards," Jai-ho said. "I'm playing politics." "You're playing poker," Ta-1 insisted. "The politics happen after, and you'll be well paid for it." He pulled out a small data chip. "This contains everything we know about Growl physiology. Study it. Learn their tells." After Ta-1 left, Jai-ho inserted the chip into his tablet. Images of the stone-like Growl appeared. Their rocky skin changed colors slightly under emotional stress. Their eyes blinked in patterns when processing complex thoughts. Jai-ho stayed up all night studying. By morning, he knew more about Growl than almost any human. As he prepared for the game, Jai-ho thought about Sung-me's warning. Was he being used? Probably. Did it matter? He decided it didn't. For the first time since losing everything on Earth, he had found purpose again. Jai-ho straightened his new jacket and headed for the private gaming room, where Ambassador Dorak waited. Whatever game Ta-1 was really playing, Jai-ho was ready to play his own. Jai-ho arrived at the maintenance section of the station, looking for someone who could help him. Ta-1's information on the Growl was good, but Jai-ho needed more. He needed to understand the game room where he would play Ambassador Dorak. "Excuse me," Jai-Ho called to a man working on a small flying robot. Are you Gunke? The man looked up. He was about Jai-Ho's age, with clever eyes and hands that moved quickly as they fixed the robot. Yes, Hyun-Ki said. You're the poker player everyone is talking about. Jai-Ho smiled. Word travels fast. On a space station, gossip moves faster than light. Hyun-Ki said, putting down his tools. What brings you to maintenance? I need help, Jai-Ho admitted. I'm playing against Ambassador Durak tomorrow. Hyun-Ki whistled. The Grail Ambassador. That's big trouble. I know. That's why I'm here. I heard you know the station better than anyone, especially the security systems. Hyun-Ki looked around to make sure they were alone. What exactly do you need? I need to know if the game will be fair, Jai-Ho said. Do the Grail cheat? Can they see my cards somehow? Hyun-Ki thought for a moment. The private gaming room has 16 cameras and 8 different scanning systems. Some can see through certain materials. He picked up a small device and handed it to Jai-Ho. Wear this tomorrow. It will disrupt any scanners trying to see your cards. Thank you, Jai-Ho said, pocketing the device. Why help me? Hyun-Ki smiled. I like card games too. My grandfather taught me poker when I was young. He reached into a drawer and pulled out an old deck of cards. We humans invented these games. It's good to see an alien learn that we're not so simple. Jai-Ho and Hyun-Ki spent the next few hours talking about poker and the different alien species on the station. Hyun-Ki knew many things about the Grail that weren't in Taiwan's data. Their facial membranes change color when they're excited or worried. Hyun-Ki explained. Dark gray is normal. Light gray means stress. If you see a bluish tint, they're very confident. That could be their tell, Jai-Ho said excitedly. What's a tell? Hyun-Ki asked. In poker, a tell is something a player does that reveals the strength of their hand, Jai-Ho explained. Humans have many tells. Touching chips when they have good cards, avoiding eye contact when bluffing. I didn't know if aliens would have tells too. They do, Hyun-Ki assured him. They just don't know it. As Jai-Ho prepared to leave, Hyun-Ki grabbed his arm. Be careful tomorrow. The Grail are powerful. They don't like to lose. I'll be careful, Jai-Ho promised. That night, Jai-Ho couldn't sleep. He practiced shuffling cards, trying to calm his nerves. Tomorrow's game would change his life one way or another. His door chimed. It was very late for visitors. Jai-Ho opened the door to find Sung-mi standing there again. Officer Park, Jai-Ho said, surprised. May I come in? Sung-mi asked. Without waiting for an answer, she walked in and closed the door. There's something you need to know about tomorrow's game. What is it? Jai-Ho asked. Durak isn't just playing for money, Sung-mi said. He's also betting a small moon his people recently acquired. Jai-Ho's eyes widened. A moon? An actual moon? Sung-mi nodded. It's a habitable moon called Serenity 7, rich in rare minerals needed for faster-than-light drives. Why would he bet something so valuable on a card game? Jai-Ho asked. Because he doesn't think he can lose, Sung-mi said. And because Taiwan specifically asked for it. Taiwan. Jai-Ho felt cold suddenly. What does he want with a moon? The company he works for wants those minerals, Sung-mi explained. This is much bigger than poker, Jai-Ho. You're in the middle of something dangerous. Jai-Ho sat down heavily. What should I do? Play your game, Sung-mi said. But watch your back. And don't trust Taiwan. She moved to the door. Good luck tomorrow. For what it's worth, I hope you win. After she left, Jai-Ho stared at his cards. The game was much bigger than he thought. A moon. He was playing for an entire world. Sleep was impossible now. Jai-Ho spent the rest of the night practicing, preparing for the biggest game of his life. The private gaming room glowed with soft blue light as Jai-Ho entered. 5 aliens sat around a large round table. In the center was Ambassador Durak of the Grail. his stone-like skin dark gray and polished. Next to him sat a Vespid diplomat, its insect eyes watching Jaiho carefully. There was also an Allura with its 6 eyes, a jellyfish-like Nexu floating in a special chair, and a small furry creature Jaiho had never seen before. Taiwan stood near the wall, smiling confidently. He gave Jaiho a thumbs up. "Welcome, human," Ambassador Durak said in a deep, rumbling voice. "We have been waiting for you." Jaiho bowed slightly. "Thank you for the invitation, Ambassador." "Please, sit," Durak gestured to the empty chair. "The stakes have been agreed upon. 50,000 credits minimum buy-in." And he paused. "Special items of value may be added during play." Jaiho thought of the moon Sungmei had mentioned. He touched the small device Hyumki had given him in his pocket, making sure it was active. A robotic dealer floated to the center of the table. Texas Hold'em rules are in effect. No limit betting. Play begins now. Cards were dealt to each player. Jaiho looked at his hand. Ace and King of Hearts, a very strong starting hand. "I shall begin with 2,000 credits," the Nexu announced, its voice bubbling through a translator. The betting moved around the table. The furry creature folded immediately. The Vespid and Allura both called the bet. Durak raised to 5,000. Jaiho studied Durak's face carefully. The growl's facial membrane was its normal dark gray. "No tell yet." "Call," Jaiho said, matching the 5,000. The dealer revealed the first 3 community cards. The 10, Jack, and Queen of Hearts. Jaiho kept his face calm, but inside he was excited. He had a royal flush draw, the best possible hand if either an ace or King of Hearts appeared. The Nexu bet 10,000 credits. The Vespid folded. The Allura called. When it was Durak's turn, Jaiho noticed his facial membrane lightening slightly, a sign of stress, according to Hyunki. 20,000, Durak announced. Jaiho considered his options. He had a strong draw, but not a made hand yet. Was Durak bluffing? "Call," Jaiho said finally. The dealer revealed the 4th card, the 9 of clubs. Not what Jaiho needed. The Nexu checked. The Allura bet 15,000. Durak raised to 50,000. Jaiho noticed Durak's membrane had darkened again. The growl was confident now. Jaiho looked at his cards again. He still needed that ace or King of Hearts for the royal flush. "Call," Jaiho said, committing more chips. The Nexu folded with an angry bubbling sound. The Allura called as well. The dealer revealed the final card, the Ace of Hearts. Jaiho had made his royal flush, the strongest possible hand in poker. He kept his face completely neutral. The Allura bet 20,000. Durak's membrane turned slightly blue, very confident. He pushed a large stack of chips forward. 100,000, Durak announced. "And I add this." He placed a small holographic projector on the table. It showed a beautiful blue moon. Serenity 7, a habitable moon with rich mineral deposits. The room went silent. The other aliens looked shocked at the size of the bet. Jaiho felt Taowan's eyes on him. This was what his backer had wanted all along. "Do you fold, human?" Durak asked. There is no shame in recognizing superior play. Jaiho took a deep breath. "I call your 100,000. He pushed his chips forward. "And I raise." "Oh." Durak's membrane flickered. "With what?" "You have no moon to bet." "Information," Jaiho said. "If I win, I get your money and your moon. If you win, I'll tell you how humans can always beat Growl at poker. The secret of our deception." Durak's eyes widened slightly. The Growl were known for valuing knowledge above all else. "Agreed," Durak said. "Show your cards." Jaiho turned over his ace and King of Hearts. Royal flush. Durak's membrane turned almost white as he revealed his hand. 4 tens. A strong hand, but not strong enough. "Impossible," Durak whispered. The room erupted in shocked alien voices. Tadawan's smile was wide enough to split his face. Jaiho had won. He had won a fortune and a moon. But as he looked at Tadawan's greedy smile, he wondered what he had really gotten himself into. The stars looked cold and empty as the alien task force moved into position. Their ships formed a perfect circle around the small research station where Jae-hyun stood. Each vessel gleamed with advanced technology, weapons charged and ready to capture the human who had discovered the mysterious suit. Jae-hyun felt different. The suit wrapped around his body like a second skin, humming with energy that seemed to flow through his veins. He could sense everything around him, each ship's position, the exact number of crew members, their weapon systems, and even the slight variations in their hull temperatures. The lead alien ship, a massive vessel with sharp, blade-like edges, opened a communication channel. A voice crackled through the station speakers. "Human, you will surrender the artifact immediately. Resistance is pointless." Jae-hyun said nothing. The suit responded for him. Suddenly, thin lines of blue-white energy began to spread from Jae-hyun's body. They moved like living threads, stretching out through the station's walls and into the space outside. The alien ships began to react, their pilots suddenly looking confused and worried. Without Jae-hyun moving a muscle, the energy lines touched each ship's systems. They didn't attack. Instead, they seemed to explore, to understand. The ship's weapons powered down. Navigation systems flickered. Communication arrays went silent. The alien pilots panicked. They tried to regain control, but nothing worked. Their sophisticated technology became as useless as dead rocks floating in space. Jae-hyun watched carefully. The suit was teaching him, showing him how to interact with technology in ways he had never imagined. It wasn't about destroying the ships. It was about control, about showing what was possible. One by one, the alien ships began to move, not by their pilots' commands, but guided gently by the blue-white energy. They shifted into a perfect formation, creating a massive geometric pattern that looked like an impossible flower made of starships. The lead ship's captain shouted through the now restored communication system. "What are you doing? Release our systems immediately." Jae-hyun spoke for the first time. His voice sounded different, deeper, with an echo that seemed to come from somewhere else. "I'm demonstrating," he said simply. In less than 10 minutes, the entire task force had been neutralized without a single injury. No weapons fired, no lives lost, just complete technological submission. The suit's energy pulled back, returning to Jae-hyun's body. He could feel the confusion, the fear, and the respect radiating from the alien ships. They had come to capture him, to take the suit by force. Now they understood that force would not work. Outside the research station, the perfectly arranged ships remained motionless. Their crews looked at their screens in disbelief. They had brought overwhelming force, the most advanced military technology, in 3 star systems, and a single human with a strange suit had stopped them completely. Jae-hyun knew this was just the beginning. The suit had shown him only a small part of what it could do. And the universe was about to learn that humans were not to be underestimated. The stars continued to shine, cold and silent, watching the strange scene of technological surrender. The news spread faster than light. Within hours, every major alien government knew about the human and the suit. Screens across different planets showed the same image. A single human standing calmly while an entire alien task force hung frozen in space. In the Galactic Council chamber, representatives from hundreds of species argued loudly. The room was a mess of colors, shapes, and angry voices. Some delegates looked like walking trees. Others appeared as clouds of moving light. A few seemed to be made of crystal or metal. But they all shared one thing: fear. "We must destroy the human," shouted a delegate from the Krultak Empire, his tentacles waving wildly. "He is a threat to everything we know." Another representative, from a silicon-based civilization, spoke in a calm voice. "Destruction is not the answer. We need to understand. The human representative sat quietly. Unlike the others, she looked small and almost unimportant, but her eyes were sharp. She knew something big was happening. Reports from the failed capture mission played on giant screens. They showed how Jae-hyun had stopped the entire task force without firing a single shot. No weapons, no violence, just pure technological control. How is this possible? Asked a delegate from the Quantum Collective. Their body shifted between solid and liquid states as they spoke. No species has ever shown such control over advanced technology. The debate continued. Some wanted to negotiate. Others wanted to attack. A few wanted to study Jae-hyun and the suit. The room became a storm of different plans and angry words. Outside the council chamber, secret meetings happened in dark rooms. Military leaders from different species made their own plans. They shared information, created secret groups, and tried to understand the new threat. Jae-hyun knew nothing of these meetings. He was still at the research station, learning more about the suit. Each moment brought new discoveries. The suit showed him strange memories of ancient civilizations. It taught him about technologies beyond human understanding. News channels across the galaxy reported the story nonstop. Experts gave opinions. Scientists tried to explain, but nobody really understood what had happened. On Earth, people watched the news with mixed feelings. Some were proud. Some were scared. Nobody knew what would happen next. The suit continued to change. It adapted to Jae-hyun's body. It learned from him, just as he learned from it. Their connection grew stronger with each passing hour. Back in the Galactic Council, the debate reached a breaking point. The Krelltak Empire demanded immediate action. The Quantum Collective wanted more study. The diplomatic tensions grew like a storm ready to break. We cannot allow a single human to change everything we know. The Krelltak delegate screamed. The human representative stood up. She was calm but strong. We don't know what this means yet, she said, but we will find out together. Her words cut through the noise. For a moment, everything became quiet. Outside, the stars continued to shine. Planets spun in their orbits, and somewhere in space, Jae-hyun waited, wearing a suit that could change everything. The diplomatic firestorm was just beginning. The research station felt different now. Quiet. Still. Jae-hyun sat in a small room, his hand touching the surface of the suit. It was no longer just a piece of technology. It was alive. It was talking to him. Images flashed in his mind, not like normal memories. These were deeper, older. They showed things no human had ever seen before. He saw a civilization older than time itself. They were not like humans, not like any alien species he knew. They were something else, something more. Their world was a place of pure energy and thought. They had technology that made current galactic civilizations look like children playing with toys. But something was wrong. A darkness was coming, a threat so big that it could destroy everything. Not just planets, not just galaxies, but entire dimensions of existence. The suit showed Jae-hyun pieces of this threat. It was something that moved between spaces, something that ate light and hope, something that could unmake reality itself. Why me? Jae-hyun asked the suit. His voice was a whisper. The answer came not in words, but in feelings. Understanding. The suit had been waiting, watching, searching for someone who could fight back. Humans were different. Other species followed rules. They had fixed ways of thinking. Humans were unpredictable, creative. They could think in ways no other species could imagine. The suit showed him more memories, of past battles, of civilizations that had tried to fight the coming darkness. All of them had failed. They were too structured, too predictable. Jae-hyun saw how the suit was more than a weapon. It was a key, a way to unlock human potential that nobody had seen before. Outside the research station, alien ships still waited. They watched. They listened. But they did not understand. The suit continued to reveal its secrets. It showed Jae-hyun how to see beyond normal space, how to feel the edges of reality, how to understand things that most beings could not even imagine. He learned about dimensions that folded into each other, about energy that moved like living things, about spaces between spaces where strange creatures lived. The darkness was getting closer. The suit was preparing him, teaching him, changing him. Jae-hyun realized he was no longer just a human. He was something else, a bridge between what was and what could be. The research station's computer systems began to change. They started to show strange patterns, mathematical equations that made no sense, images that shifted and moved. Something was coming, something big. The suit pulsed with energy. Jae-hyun could feel its heartbeat, its purpose, its hope. Humanity had been chosen, not by accident, not by chance, but because they were different, because they could adapt, because they could change. The first wave of the darkness would come soon, and Jae-hyun would be ready. Outside, the stars continued to shine, but something was changing. Something was coming, and nothing would ever be the same again. The first sign came quietly, a small change in space that most would not notice. But Jae-hyun saw it. The suit showed him everything. Darkness began to leak between the spaces of reality. It looked like nothing and everything at the same time. A shadow that could think. A void that could hunt. The Galactic Council was not ready. They still argued about Jae-hyun. They still fought about the suit. They did not understand that something much bigger was coming. Jae-hyun stood on the research station's observation deck. The suit covered his body completely now. It was not just a piece of technology. It was alive. It was a weapon. It was a friend. Alien ships surrounded the station. Some wanted to capture him. Some wanted to protect him. Most were just afraid. "It's coming," Jae-hyun said softly. The darkness grew. It moved like a hungry animal between the stars. Whole star systems began to disappear, not destroyed, just gone, as if they had never existed. The suit began to change. Its surface shifted, became more complex. Lines of energy moved like living things. Jae-hyun could feel its excitement, its purpose. Alien communication channels went crazy. Panic spread faster than light. Military ships from different species gathered. They tried to make plans, but they knew nothing. Only Jae-hyun understood. The first wave of darkness hit the edge of known space. It moved past defenses like they were nothing. Advanced shields became like paper. Powerful weapons did nothing. But the suit was ready. Jae-hyun raised his hand. Energy began to build, not just from the suit, but from him. The suit had chosen him for a reason. Humans were different. Humans could adapt. The darkness tried to reach him, to eat him, to remove him from reality. Jae-hyun pushed back. A wall of energy exploded from the research station. It looked like 1,000 suns burning at the same time. The darkness stopped, confused, surprised. Alien ships watched in shock. They had never seen anything like this before. The suit showed Jae-hyun how to fight, not with weapons, but with understanding, with creativity, with the ability to change and adapt. Piece by piece, the darkness began to break, not destroyed, but pushed back, contained. Jae-hyun was no longer just a human. He was a defender, a bridge between what was and what could be. The Galactic Council went silent. Military leaders stopped arguing. Everyone watched. One human, one suit, stopping something no one else could fight. Hours passed. Days. The darkness tried again and again. But Jae-hyun stood strong. The suit protected him, taught him, changed him. Slowly, the universe began to understand. Humans were not weak. They were not simple. They were something else. A new kind of hope began to grow. As the last pieces of darkness were pushed back, Jae-hyun looked at the stars. Everything had changed, and nothing would ever be the same again.